Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be Tzeentch led by Opal Blackbear facing off against the Empire, who shall be helmed by Nerexa here on the Geyser Bluff, and it is going to be Changeling versus Marcus Wolfhard. So, what is the Changeling going to be? Okay, let me actually think. So I'm going to put this in slow-mo. I'm actually going to pause it because he's transforming right now. So against the Empire... Okay, so a couple variables to consider, right? We don't see a secondary wizard character, right? No, we do. Okay, so it's going to be a combat character. So we see a Cultist of Tzeentch. I would say Valkia or Satang. Valkia, Satang. Who else would be good here? Probably not Orion. Okay, Valkia or Satang's going to be my pick. Obviously, I could just name like 10 characters, but that's like cheating. So let's see who it's going to be. What the? What the hell is this? Snagla Grobspit? What the hell is this shit, dude? Alright, so he can summon hatchlings. Oh, he's got a net. Oh, so giving you double net and a little cute summon there. Okay, that is a pretty gangster tech here by Opal Blackbear. Now, the rest of his line is going to be Chaos Warriors, who are going to try and armor check the Empire with their lack of really effective frontline AP. I mean, Greatswords can do the job, but, you know, it is a little bit precarious. Cultist of Tzeentch with Burning Head, Forsaken, and a Chariot character to deal with Greatswords, presumably. Now, looking at the army of Nerexa. Knights of the Black Rose are quite good at stifling aggression. Tzeentch does have halberds, but, you know, I don't know if they really spam halberds in this matchup, because if they go too halberd heavy and you just swarm them with state troopers and like archers and shit, you know, they're gonna have a bad time. So Black Rose Knights to counter Forsaken warriors as well as Marauders, really not bad. Couple archers in the back, spears, and it is going to be a Witch Hunter. Oh man, this is such a cool game. Get a friggin' Witch Hunter. Oh my god, and guess that Pokemon over there, man, Snagla, would not have guessed that. Free Company Militia, Celestial Wizard going to be dropping the fat comments of Cassandora, and Marcus Wolfhard going to be on the hunt. So out of the gates, we get the Book of Secrets. Alright, so Book of Secrets from Opal Blackbear gets a Fate of Buna on its first cast. That's really lucky. I think it's a 1 in 3 chance, so, well, it's only 33. It's not like super lucky, but it's very, very good. So the Knights of the Black Rose going to be getting pounded, and oh my god, if he gets another Buna back-to-back, that's going to be so disgusting. It's such a gambling item, man. It really leans into the Tzeentch randomness. So Chaos Warrior's going to get hammered by a charge, but they have 100 armor and really high MD, so they're going to tank it well. They haven't lost a single warrior yet, and they're giving it back to the Black Rose Knights. And sustained combat, Black Rose Knights probably would win in like a really long grind, but they can't afford to stay there because, you know, there's cultists nearby. And oh, look at that Snagla using a net on them. Is that really worth it? Okay, Centaurs of Tzeentch coming out. That net does last 14 seconds. That's a hell of a long time. And look at the great micro from Opal Blackbear. He retreats the Chaos Warriors out of the way and makes room for the Centaurs to get the charge. So Knights of the Black Rose is going to take a pounding here. Most likely, we'll be able to retreat away and salvage some of the models, but in response, Marcus is going to be dropping a net here. Does get the Cultist, the Exalted Hero, and the Forsaken, while the big old Centaurs continue hunting the Black Rose Knights. State Troopers moving in to support them a little bit, while the Bowfire and Free Company Militia take up ranks and form some cool-looking formations here. You gotta love Formation Fire. It looks so freaking cool. Chaos Warriors actually ignoring the Free Company and are going to be charging through to something else. Probably should have gotten on the Free Company, although no, he's going to tie them down with that unit there, so moving in here isn't a terrible idea. Now back in the absolute chaos of this side of the battlefield, we see Snagla going deep, dude. Using the Spider Hatchlings to shut down the Archers temporarily. Black Rose Knight's going to be moving in there. Advancing up are the Chaos Warriors and the Forsaken, chewing through the Swordsmen. And the Centaurs of Tzeentch were able to escape relatively unscathed, so very, very good stuff. Now the Empire is going to be responding, dropping a fat erect comet on their opponent's face, and it looks like a Burning Head's going to be hitting the Empire as well. This is going to do big damage if it hits, though. And kaboom! Alright, basically one-shots that Chaos Warrior unit. Not one-shots, but about 50-60% of their HP. Burning Head going to continue rolling through, and Forsaken trying to get around the backfield, but are going to be intercepted by grenade launchers, which are, like, I would say, a soft counter against them. It would be a hard counter if they're a little bit less lightly armored, but Forsaken can kind of, you know, keep them, you know, harried enough because of how fast Forsaken are that they need a little bit of help to deal with them, right? Alright, so back on the objective here, we do see Tzeentch is going to be controlling that one. The Empire has its home objective. Objective 1 going to be belonging to Tzeentch as well. Value trading is favoring the Empire a little bit, but with regenerating shields, you have to remember a lot of that is going to be not necessarily accurate. And Tzeentch does have a good fight going on here. Chaos Warriors annihilate these units. Forsaken rip apart Swordsmen. So we're going to see very soon a breaking open of this position, and the Empire is not going to be having a good time. Here we have another Chaos Warrior unit fighting well. I love seeing warrior-heavy games. It's so freaking fun. And see what I'm saying about the Forsaken? With their 46 movement speed, even though these guys are way faster, they have to turn around, they have to stop, they have to set up their shots. So it's a little bit of a dodgy one, as the Outriders with the grenade launchers are going to be fleeing the old scene. So there they go. Back on the other side, we do see the Chaos Furies on their way in. Looks like they're going to be heading over after the Archers. And once again, we do see the Forces of Chaos, and led by the glorious Snagla Grobspit, having a pretty good fight here. You know, dominating most of the State Troopers in combat. State Troopers do not win against many things one-on-one. Maybe if it's like a Skaven Slave or a Clan Rat, but you know, more of a holding piece. They're going to get ripped up by the Furies, and will need some cavalry support. Now, nice play here by Nerexa. Going to be dropping a fat net on these Centaurs, and they're going to be getting wagons. So the War Wagons and the Giga Chad Witch Hunter also going to be shooting. So he's got his fat pistol drawn and his cool hat here. I mean, man, look how cool that guy looks. Yep, going to be capping that Centaur in the face. Very, very nice stuff. Big old wind spell going to be going down, so it's going to be a burning head from Tzeentch, which is very effective. Empire, you know, typically always has State Troopers or some lightly armored targets, unless you're playing against Anticity. Then it's just going to be like mass cavalry with pistoliers, and you're going to be kind of sad about your burning heads. But typically it is State Trooper heavy, right? But Tzeentch is definitely trading pretty well. I think a lot of the value the Empire has is, of course, tied up in the shields of Tzeentch. We do see Tzeentch winning a lot of fights across the battlefield. This Objective 3 is actually probably going to be flipping their way, or at least being threatened in such a way. Back here, Chaos Warriors are chilling. Warriors winning this fight here. And the dreaded Snagla Grobspit, man, he's putting pressure on. What's going down here? Curse of the Midnight Wind. Empire Knights trying to fight. Not going to trade super well against the Centaurs, even in their tattered state. We do also get some Furies here who've been accused of heresy, but there's not really a lot of damage on them, so they're not going to be punished for the debuff. Although that accusation lasts a hell of a long time. Is that like 30 plus seconds? I think it was. Yeah, pretty cool. Backside, more Centaurs being called in makes sense in the mid-game. Empire trying to get a little bit of a cheeky grab right here, so we do see some State Troopers trying to ninja Objective 1. Most likely they will be dealt with here, but look at the Spider Hatchlings, the Forbidden Tech. Very, very fun to see. Back point here, Chaos Warriors slowly wrestling this objective. Definitely for Tzeentch, a really nice play would be to temporarily rotate some cav here to get that captured really quickly. You know, put the Empire on the back foot, 100%. Now, is the Empire in a position, which they're often in, where they can start to accrue a lot of value on the back foot when their opponent overextends? We do see the Tzeentch hero, the Exalted Hero on the Chariot, actually getting broken here, so he's going to be broken and stirred, setting at -1 leadership as the Furies continue doing a very good job chasing those Outriders. So these are obviously two very high-level players, so you're going to be seeing a pretty good micro here. So Snagla, I believe, has used all of his nets. Now he's going to be used to chase after the wagons. He's not the tankiest of characters, but probably not much different than the Changeling. Warrior's able to win that one. On the backside point, we do see the Spider Hatchlings going, but this is a really clutch play by Nerexa. Like, when you're on the Empire, anytime you can ninja an objective like this is so freaking clutch. I would imagine there's going to be a call in here. Yeah, there's already Zangors on the way. So Zangors will push these guys off, and did it flip? It did. So that did flip. Now it's going to go back to Tzeentch, but that's a clutch play. Like, in these kind of survival scenarios where you're on the back foot, pushed off objectives, every second you can buy is just a world of difference, right? So Changeling continuing to do his business, chasing down the war wagons, and now Snagla is going to be heading across, going after the Archers, as Marcus Wolfhart and his Witch Hunter are going to be trying to unify on the objective. Because, you know, even though Marcus is a ranged character, he still provides 3 capture weights. So having him and the Witch Hunter, that's more than an infantry unit if you combine them, so not terrible at all. Snagla shutting down the Archers. Back objective here, going to be flipping relatively quickly. And it looks like the Empire has not lost its home objective. Oh my god, if he holds this, that's a beautiful play. Oh, so good and tasty. Oh, that is so clutch. So that Comet did enough damage to mitigate the capture pressure here, allowing the Empire to actually stabilize this point. So now, like that, in tandem with this back objective being stolen, Nerexa is really kind of just back in this game, which is uber impressive here. So Centaur is bashing away on the Empire Knights. Chaos Warriors are there as well. Witch Hunter, you know, will probably eventually die in a blob of Chaos Warriors. He does have an armor-piercing pistol, but not so much in melee. You could use Snagla as an assassin too. Probably using him to go after the Witch Hunter would be your best bet. Marcus is still a decent fighter. Snagla is not the strongest, but he does have high melee defense, I guess. But even still, I would say, overall, we do see that Tzeentch is in a more commanding position on the field. Burning Head attempt on the Great Swords, probably thought they were State Troopers from a distance and didn't notice that. But this back point, Zangors and Forsaken, going to get that one back. Chaos Furies of Tzeentch can honestly tie down Empire Knights for like 45 minutes and just buy time for the Centaurs to get there and really just give them the business, right? Centaur is going to be in pursuit. Snagla is going to be going after Marcus with a Spider Summon, which is uber cool. And yeah, everything's looking pretty stable for Tzeentch, honestly. Value does say the Empire's ahead, but again, it's not tracking things correctly. Tzeentch is way ahead, in my opinion, in this situation. Last War Wagon going to be taken down by the Hatchling Summon. It has gotten 200 value, so talk about Value City. The thing is being nibbled down here. Centaur is going to be chasing across as we do see the Changeling going for it and going after Marcus. Yeah, I guess there's no reason to go back into Changeling form, I don't think. It'd be kind of interesting if you went back into Changeling form. So how it works is when you go back to that form, there's like a cooldown before you can flip back again. I don't know. This would probably be too strong, but if you had the Changeling and you can go back to his form and then go back to the thing you're transforming in, what if it like reset the like charges on those abilities? I don't think it'd be fair. I think that could be abused, but just kind of an interesting concept to think about. So Empire is going to be pushing for the home objective of Tzeentch. Not going to be easy. I mean, Greatswords are probably the best bet here, actually, because they trade well against all these units, right? Like, the Greatswords are going to dominate the Zangors. They'll beat Forsaken in combat, and they have, like, just dank floppy hats and look super cool. Powerful COD pieces going on from these boys. Greatsword's probably one of my favorite units in the game. They're so freaking cool looking. But Zangor's going to get wrecked pretty badly. Fury's going to be diving on the Empire Knights. Swordsmen versus Zangors will favor Zangors. And we do see State Troopers moving out. Marcus trying to put some firepower down. Accusation activated on the Centaurs. Snagla's going to be going after Marcus again. But honestly, yeah, for the Empire here, you want to be sniping Snagla, I think. Trying to shoot down here at these Centaurs is fine. But with how low this little goblin is, if you were to get the pick on him, that would be a huge momentum-shifting play, right? Beautiful Tzeentch army ability. Not quite on the money, but pretty close. It looks like the Greatsword player, the mighty Nerexa, was able to move out of range right there. And the Empire's just hanging in there, you know, fighting aggressively, trying to get to the enemy objectives. There is going to be a chalice, not a chalice of potions, but it looks like a Thunderbolt or Uranan's Comet coming down. Does actually kill the Furies very quickly, but friendly fire on the Empires probably makes it not worth it. Centaurs have pulled back. Centaurs of Tzeentch are a pretty good counter against Greatswords if you use them that way. Knights of the Black Rose coming up. And Tzeentch is looking a little bit flimsy over here on this flank. We see some warriors, although there's a healthy Centaur here and some more warriors. So there's a lot of armor on that side. So probably going to be kind of chilling here. Forsaken getting charged, but beautiful countercharge going to be coming in as the Centaurs of Tzeentch get a beautiful one. Get in there. Knights of the Black Rose going to start taking a whooping right there. They're not going to have a good time with that. And also the Celestial Wizard's a little bit surrounded. He only has 20 armor. Forsaken have 58 weapon strength. They're going to cut through him very, very quickly. Now, this would be a huge blunder by Tzeentch to let the Empire ninja this back objective again. Definitely want to detach these Zangors from this fight, move them back to that objective. Call some Centaurs of Tzeentch back here. You can't afford to lose this again. Not in a game like this. This is really, really close. Knockdown, drag-out game for sure. Marcus going to get surrounded by Centaurs. Looks like Warrior's going to win that 2v1 fight. Objective 2 is kind of a non-starter for the Empire, looking very, very secure for Tzeentch. But here, man, you don't want to be blundering this. Okay, Centaurs do arrive. That's going to be 4 capture weight against the 5 of the Spearmen. Moving the Cultist onto the corner of the objective right here would grant you 3 capture weight, which would be 7 against 5. So that'd be very, very good. I don't know if that's going to happen. Snagla hiding in the trees, which is the correct play. And Empire is threatening the side objective now, actually. I didn't think that was going to work out, but the Black Rose Knights rotated from the middle. Now, Centaurs of Tzeentch are, relatively favored against them, and if Tzeentch is really on point right now, they would move these warriors back onto the objective to make sure their opponent doesn't make progress. However, during all this, we do see Tzeentch threatening the objective of the Empire, but this is what I'm talking about, like parking just like a cheap character on the corner, really, really, every moment you can slow down your opponent's capture weight is incredibly strong. Yeah, and these Tzeentch Centaurs, are they on the point? I think they are. We're going to be seeing the Gors in. Fury's going to be coming in, and it looks like just barely. Tzeentch is going to be stabilizing its home objective here. Really should have moved these Chaos Warriors back. Granted, it wouldn't have probably saved the objective, but it would have bought you some time. As it currently stands, the Empire is going to be in a position to win on 2. They're not far enough ahead where they're just karate chopping. But Tzeentch does have this really nasty 2,000 gold mobile core, which I think can hammer down a lot of the Imperial positions. So we'll see what they do with them. Like these 2 Centaurs should be able to take objective number 2 back, and it looks like the Tzeentch missile ability is going to be going down to the wagons, and they're going to be getting hunted by the Giga Chad Centaurs. So Centaurs on their way in. The bonkening is upon us. So there they go, going after the War Chariot, and steady but stirred. Yeah, we'll find out. All right, so moving across, Centaurs of Tzeentch going to be chasing down the war wagons here. I see the writing on the wall of Tzeentch maybe getting that objective back. Objective number 2 is stabilized. Here, Forsaken still fighting, but the State Troopers should be able to handle that. So really the final battle for the fate of this game is going to come down to objective 2. We're going to see who's going to get it. Most likely Tzeentch will be able to wrestle it back, but will the Empire State Troopers and the spear buffering be enough in tandem with Marcus to hold it down? Collins for Tzeentch in the back, Forsaken and Blue Horrors. Snagla hiding in the trees, which is wise. You don't want to risk losing your lord, so I'm really glad they got rid of unsummoning, right? Like, it's still a risk having him on the battlefield. He could route just randomly for a couple reasons, not randomly, but yeah, that was a great change for sure. We've come a long way. That is indeed the case. So Centaur's fighting it out here. Here we do have the Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch trying to hold it down, but being charged by the Black Rose Knights or Empire Knights, but they're going to get wrecked by the Centaurs. And will Tzeentch be able to counter push over here? Using the Zangors to fight State Troopers with Furies attacking them in the back is very, very clutch. This objective is beginning to flip back to Tzeentch, but barely, and the State Troopers arriving is going to be a bit of a problem. So stacking the Empire Knights on the State Troopers is going to be uber cost-effective. Celestial Wizards here as well. And yeah, right now, Empire wins with 2. That is for sure the case. So Fury's coming, Blue's coming, Forsaken are going to be arriving, getting on top of Marcus here, as we get a big Alpha Strike coming in. Actually rear charging the Spearmen, who were not braced, so maybe they'll take some damage, but if they just turn and fight, they should be favored against the Centaurs. And, you know, that's a, 350 gold unit or whatever the hell it is that can take on 2,000 gold or at least hold them back. So definitely a good system of checks and balances in this game for the most part. There are some polarizing units like Wrathmongers who don't really have a weakness, but yeah, for the most part, it's pretty good in this game. But man, playing Battle for Middle-earth has been crazy, and seeing like how jarring counters are in that game. Like if you run a cavalry unit over like an archer, just like insta-kills it. Not always, depending on the quality of the cavalry unit, but man, oh man, it gets pretty crunk. All right, Objective 2. The Sons of Sigmar held. You know, I really thought Tzeentch was going to be able to get that one, but it looks like they did find a way to hold, getting the State Troopers there. And now Tzeentch looks like they're going to be rotating their efforts towards Objective 3, which is heavily undefended. We do have some Free Company coming out, but that's it. And here, these State Troopers get folded really quickly. And this is beautiful play. Chaos 101. Infantry in the front, Furies in the back to rip them apart. It's really, really effective at dealing with formations. And the Imperial Troopers there are going to be chopped up nice and good. So advancing are the Zangor. Zangor is going to be heading towards Objective Trace. Objective number 1 here is going to be held by Tzeentch as the Blues make their way over. I mean, can Tzeentch still win this objective? Maybe with the Blues arriving. He's kind of threatening all the points, but you don't want to be the jack, you know, what's the expression? I mean, obviously the very simplistic expression is the jack of all trades, but the master of none or whatever. You're all right at everything, but you're not really the master of anything. You don't want to be in that situation here. You just need to get one of these objectives and hold it for like a minute, and you're going to win the game. Snagala in the back. We got more Forsaken coming in to reinforce. Fury's going to be used to try and rip apart the Free Company militia, but the capture weight does come back to the Empire as the Free Company do arrive on the point. The Zangors do get a little bit worn down. Centaur's trying there. Oh man, and for the first time in the game, the Empire is going to be passing them here very, very soon, although that's a shit ton of capture weight. We have about 3 or 4 here, 5 here. Centaur is going to be providing about 2 with their current health, so it is going to be outmuscling the Empire, but is it going to be quick enough is the question. Back here, the Imperials holding valiantly. Black Rose Knights, not great against Centaurs of Tzeentch, but they do have good melee defense, so at the very least, they'll last a long time. And this is a great play here, getting the Giga Chad Sterling's Revenge out. These guys got their pistols out for Sigmar, just going deep, shooting down these demons, vanishing back to the warp as the Knights of the Black Rose do harry those guys down. And back in the epicenter of combat here, I think, Centaur is going to need to rotate back towards Objective 2. Probably abandon this point at this point. Point. So Forsaken and Centaur is able to get this one, and right now, Tzeentch will win if they just hold on to these. And I think that's going to be game. I don't know if the Empire can get these back quick enough. We do see Marcus Wolfhart fighting over here, but there's nothing on the horizon, right? Like, the Empire is still bottlenecked over on Objective 3, and we do see healthy Forsaken, healthy Centaurs coming out, and I simply don't think they can win, because, they're just going to get 2 victory tickets per second. It ain't my first rodeo. Let's see if there's any opportunities for, like, a last stand here, but I really, really don't think so. On the backside, Spearman moving, and that has got to be it, right? Let's just watch those points go up. Yeah, that is it. What a good, scrappy game, ladies and gentlemen. As for the Oracles of Tzeentch with the dreaded Snagala, that was one of the most fun replays we've had in a while. Not only was it a good, close, competitive game, but extremely off-meta play on both sides. Witch Hunter is not meta, nor is Celestial Magic, and getting to see the Book of Secrets and the Snagala Changeling, I mean, come on, that is some wild shit. Anyways, guys, I always forget. Let's look at the value. Nothing too wild. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. Probably mostly Centaurs. Yeah, they're the carries. 28, 26, 16. That makes perfect sense, too. It's not like they're OP anymore. It's just that they were literally farming Black Rose Knights nonstop. And for the Empire, 1,300 there. Not bad. 1,000. Marcus able to get 13. Caster did fine. Greatswords kind of got crumped a little bit. Wagons and reserves is always a curious one for me. I think they're better in the starting army, but yeah, that was it. All right, guys. GG, well played. We'll see you guys around. Take care of yourselves, and Sigmar bless.